good morning. Welcome back to the second hour of LoveBabz Love Talk. Hey, Uncle Jimmy.
Hey, how you doing, Carl?
How are you this morning?
I am doing well. How are you?
I'm good. You're looking very, very dapper and handsome.
Why, thank you, thank you. Yes, I had to get a haircut for the show because no one in no it looks like no man in the 1920s had a mullet coming out of the back of their head. So I had to fix that.
No, men in those days are very elegant and tailored.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. So you're here to talk about well, I had Jess Mack and Ruben Ortiz on the other day, Wednesday, and you're on to talk about, the familiar connection, the Italian immigrant story of A Slice, under the Broken Umbrella Theater, produced for the International Festival of Arts and Ideas. So I learned a great deal being in this production. I didn't really know too much of um, New Haven. So many Italians came from a particular part of Italy, and one of the largest populations from that particular region in Italy are here. I didn't know that history. So talk a little bit about that, Lou Mangini.
Well, thank you. So we are doing a show called The Slice during the International Festival of Arts and Ideas. It's sold out. Invited dress Monday, show Tuesday, show Wednesday. Babs, I'm so happy you're in it. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fun. And in doing shows and in building a show from scratch, you do a lot of research. And one of the things we were researching was Colin Kaplan's pizza book, Pizza: A Love Story, and the whole front section of that is about Italian immigration to the United States, which really started to ramp up in like the 1880s or so, and so on and so forth, and then was curtailed with the Immigration Bill of 1925, which was it was an overall immigration bill, but it was specifically meant to stop Italians from immigrating to the United States. um, there was one point in when we were developing our characters. I can't remember if you were there or not. And they were like, "Lou, who are you?" I'm like, "I'm Jimmy Carmenizzato. I work at my brother's pizzeria. I came here 1926, 1927. Here we are in 1929." And Arik Isaacs points out, he's like, "Lou, no, you didn't, because you would not have been allowed to come here after, or it would have been much more difficult to come here in 19 after 1925." So one of the things that we learned, and a lot of how immigration works, this is why you have a little Italy, Chinatown, all these places where when people first come to the country, they congregate in certain areas. And we're talking the early 1900s. No
Mm-hmm.
one's on Facebook being like, "Oh, hey, come to New Haven, you can work at Sargent Manufacturing." It was folks coming here initially from Italy, from different countries, or what have you, and then they would tell their family members, and then the companies would often rely on some of the first people who got here to bring along other folks. And that's how you got these small ethnic groups coming here from other countries, settling in a certain area, and usually working at a couple of different but very specific places, because they were bringing over family to get that American dream.
Yes. I mean, and just about everybody has this kind of immigrant story. The Italian story is not different than the Caribbean story. It's not different than the Eastern European story. It's not different than it's a very similar story. There's forces trying to keep them out
Yeah, yeah,
across the board. And then they find a way to get in, and then they settle in these pockets, and then they start to build on what they believe is the American dream. And this
yeah,
story sort of follows that um, um, the story of the settling of Worcester Square,
yeah.
or how Italians came to Worcester Square. because Worcester Square was settled, black folks and enslaved black folks mostly
William
lived in
Lance.
Worcester Square.
Yeah.
So, so
And don't forget, every time a new group of folks come here, they're now the most hated.
yeah, yeah. So we're telling this story, this particular story about a family, the Carbonazzatis,
Yeah.
and then they have other family members who are here too, right? Who are not who are who are in business for themselves, like bread makers and other
Yep.
pizza people and that kind of thing. And that's not uncommon, right? That's not uncommon.
I mean, and so we loosely based this story off of Pepe's. We and but we also read about Sally's. We also read about Modern. We also read about Italian bakeries from the 1910s and the 1920s, where pizzerias kind of popped up from. And it is Frank Pepe. He comes here early 1900s. He goes back to Italy, fights in World War I for Italy, comes back here, goes to work as sergeant, like all the good Italian immigrants did. They had the family ties, and again, it was the company. They would say to the people here, it's like, please bring more folks in. We can use this less expensive labor, and he doesn't like it. So he starts selling pizzas, and the early pizzas were crust and sauce,
Mm-hmm.
and crust and sauce and anchovies. And he used to sell them on a device that he wore on his head. Later on, he moved to a cart, and then he moved. It was actually I believe, his grandmother. And thankfully, Colin Kaplan's going to be on WTNH with Ruben soon, so
Mm-hmm.
he's not watching to correct me. But I believe it was Frank Pepe's grandmother who urged him to open the store out of a bakery, which is still there, still standing. It's the Spot. It's not the Pepe storefront you see now, but the Spot was the original Pepe's. It was mostly takeout. And as we look into it further, and he had family members work there. As you go on in pizza history and New Haven pizza history, you have the Consiglios, you have the Bamontes, and they came from or next to this one place, and eventually, I grew up in Hamden. I remember the Bamontes Pizza Castle.
Yes, I remember them too. I ate there.
Yeah.
So,
So you have all these. It's kind of like the Bill Belichick football coaching tree. You're the head coach. Frank Pepe's one of the big pizza guys, and then from his family shoot out all these other businesses. But then you get into like the 80s, 90s, even now, where you have pizzerias are employing people of other ethnicities, and then they go out and they after learning the trade, after learning the craft, they go out and they open their own places. I mean, when we did the Washington D.C. pizza trip, we had people of all ethnicities, shapes, and sizes on that plane representing New Haven pizza, because they were either one of the original cornerstones or they had learned the craft in the 80s and 90s, and went on to forge their own path.
hmm now talk about the pizza trip, just to refresh people's memory, because that's a great story too. That's a great New Haven pizza story too.
The pizza trip was amazing. It started on February 9th, which is National Pizza Day. And here we are at Ernie's Pizzeria. And the governor comes down and he reads a proclamation saying that Connecticut is the pizza capital of the United States. My boss, the congresswoman, Rosa, shows up and she's like, I want to do this, but in DC. And I'm standing around with Colin Kaplan, Mary Corsi, from who owns a media company, Scott Dolch from the Connecticut Restaurant Association, and I think Pat Doriso was too busy in the back making pizzas at Ernie's, and we're like, hey, let's do a congressional record statement, much like we did with Louis' Lunch and the hamburger,
Mm-hmm.
where read into the congressional record through this statement that New Haven is the pizza capital of the United States. So, initially it was going to be smaller than it turned out being. But, Colin being able to use Taste of New Haven, Mary being able to use media contacts, Scott with the Connecticut Restaurant Association, and, our office providing the record statement and with help of our DC office, getting to be on the steps of the Capitol. We ended up flying down about 110 pizza makers, media, folks from a Broken Umbrella Theater Company. Mayor Elliker was there. We through private donations, we were able to charter a plane from New Haven to Dulles, which is going to be a new Avelo route. We went to Pepe's in Alexandria. Actually, pretty good. I don't know if it's true or not, but they told me they have a tank of New Haven water in the back of the restaurant just to make sure the dough comes out right. We go there, we eat, we have a great time. We take the buses over to the steps of the Capitol. We're up there. Rosa reads the congressional record statement. Everyone has like New Haven pizza boxes, and there's so much energy in the crowd. And after that, because A1 Toyota was nice enough to donate money to Taste of New Haven and Collins Company to get this done, their requirement for that was include veterans. So after the steps of the Capitol, we went over to the Vietnam and the Korean War memorials on the mall, and it was a nice end of a very whirlwind and exciting day, which garnered us a lot of press and might have made a person or two unhappy with us.
I don't know who could have been unhappy with it. I don't know who could be unhappy about New Haven pizza. I don't.
Oh, maybe New York, New Jersey, that lasagna they have in Chicago that they try to call pizza.
That casserole?
Yo, casserole.
That giant casserole thing. That's all right. They'll get over it. They'll deal with it. We'll send them pizza. We'll send them some good pizza.
And you know what?
Yes.
If you're not first, you're last. We were the ones who did it. We read it into the congressional record. That's it. End of story.
That's it. So, that's all right. They'll be all right. They're grown-ups. They could handle it. They will. So they have no choice. So a slice is a slice of a bigger production to come in 2025.
Yes. So a slice is a slice of what is right now working title New Haven's Family Business.
Yeah.
And it's going to be about the intergenerational relationships of women who really run the business in this fictional pizzeria in 1929, 49, 89. By the time we get to the big show, we may include modern day. So if you can see this green thing behind me, it's a remnant of the pandemic. This was my green screen for when we were doing improv shows and other things online, totally by Zoom, on Facebook Live and stuff like that. We had been working on a show before the pandemic started. It was going to be about Walter Camp, Yale, football, toxic masculinity, and we were working on it. It was moving along. And I remember that second or third week of March 2020 when everything shut down. It was Tuesday night. We were supposed to have a creation session, and we were using the Eli Whitney Museum. And I learned that afternoon late that New Haven schools had closed down for 2 weeks or indefinitely, whatever. And I was like, hey, we should probably postpone the creation session tonight because all of you are about to have big childcare problems from now until who knows. Prior to that, we hadn't done an original work since 2017 when we did Exchange about the fact that the switchboard was invented here in New Haven by George Coy, a Civil War veteran and a Milford resident who, playing around with a bunch of teacups and pieces of metal, figured out how to bring a wire in to a central location and then send it out to wherever. instead of sending it into having a wire for each individual connection. So about a year ago, our artistic director, Ruben, he decided that he was like, I want to do a pizza rock opera. And like, no one knows what that means. And that has turned into, we're going to look at a show about pizza, New Haven, women, um, immigration, generational family businesses, the employees that work there, and the impact that these things have on the community. And New Haven's family business will launch next year, International Festival of Arts and Ideas 2025. It'll be a much longer and much more robust, fleshed out show, probably totaling between an hour and 15 minutes and an hour and 30 minutes. And, maybe during that show, we get to see the backstory of Pearl and her family. Maybe in that show, we flesh out Uncle Jimmy a little bit. And, we see Uncle Jimmy's Jazz Pizzeria.
I
But
love it.
we are excited to show this snippet of it, and we're excited to deliver the full pie next year.
And so the place that is being produced and shown at is the honest to God pizza restaurant.
Yes. Next door, owned by Doug Coffin. Many people know him from the Green Pizza Truck.
Mm-hmm. And he's not Italian.
Yeah, he is not, and he is vocal about that. But it's something we learned early on. As we were talking to more pizza makers, and we were trying to get more and more input for this show. They're like, "Hey, all pizza guys aren't Italian, right?" We're like, "Yes, we are well aware." But it goes to that celebration of how this particular industry that was created by a specific ethnicity has now expanded so that others take the banner and open their business. So it'll be at Next Door, which is the brick and mortar version of the Green Pizza Truck. We will be in the back room. The back room is spectacular. I remember as a younger person dancing there on the Radio 104.1 dance nights when it was Humphreys.
When it was a bona fide dive bar.
Oh, it was amazing. And they actually still have the old Humphreys bar I tucked in the back corner there. But full-fledged pizzeria, great menu. Activities on most nights, like, they'll have like the fun stuff, like, on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, trivia, karaoke, and the pizza is fantastic. The guys in the back who make it, Josh, Anthony, Mike, and Mike,
Mm-hmm.
and Doug as well. In addition to having your traditional moots, they make a mean original New Haven pizza, which is that crust, sauce, garlic, and no cheese, no nothing. That's the original authentic pie. They have like a honey glazed Brussels sprout pie. Perhaps not for me, but some people. I was out there the other night with a group of folks. Absolutely love it. Two versions of clam pie: traditional white and clams casino.
And so a slice delves into the tension between moving from a traditional pizza to not traditional pizza, and the tension between what happens with that in Italian restaurants where, somebody has a different dream about what pizza should be, and the push-pull of, no, that doesn't belong on a pizza. And, Lou, we're still having these conversations about what belongs on a pizza. And the thing about this is, what I found interesting is that the push-pull of what goes on a pizza, the thing that they decide to put on the pizza, is so part of the culture of the pizza. Like, people can't imagine this pizza, not having this pizza now. I don't want to give it away of what it is, because it's so ingrained in people, and they love this particular pizza.
It's true. In doing our research, Frank Pepe, until his passing, called any pie with 2 or 3 more toppings trash. He literally called it trash. I mean, this is the guy that started with crust and sauce, and then crust, sauce, and anchovies. Over time, added a little more and a little more. Because of the abundance of clams, that became a thing. But clam pie is actually something that, as you know, because you're in it, we bring up in the show. And because this is a show about the strong women who run a restaurant, we have a mother-daughter relationship and a mother-daughter relationship. So 2 generations that span over 3 time periods: 29, 49, and 89.
Mm-hmm.
And I might give away the clam pizza because everyone knows that's a thing.
Well,
In
you
19
just did.
Yeah, in in 1929, one of the characters mentions putting clams on a pie. To which other characters faint and go crazy and wild and run off the set and so on. But and the mother's like, well, I don't know if that's the right thing. And then that same sort of maybe we should or shouldn't do this kind of pops up in 1989 again. And you watch the relationship between mother and daughter, between older family member and younger family member, soften over that period.
Mm, mm. And so now just about anything goes on a pizza.
Except pineapple. Nope.
I don't know, Lou. Have you had a
Oh,
pineapple pizza?
it's so one of the things that we did as a promotional marketing for the show was we did the a golden slice, which was a pizza bracket, uh,
Yes.
but we also did a questionnaire. And so many people who answered, and there weren't a ton of them, but we got a couple hundred responses. A number of people who either came from or currently reside on the West Coast. To them, pineapple pizza was as common as pepperoni.
Wow.
It was like that's what we grew up on. I mean, so everyone has the same family and friend stories with pizza. You have your local pizza place. You do it after a game. You order it late at night if you're a theater crew breaking something down or working on a show. If you're a business, you're like, oh, hey, how should we get people to our event? Hey, no, we'll just have pizza. And every pizzeria is its own place, but they all kind of look and feel the same, except sometimes they're in a strip mall. But on the West Coast, it is very common for pineapple and ham to be one of the
Yeah.
things that people have grown up with for decades now. And it's just there's differences with pizza with respect to geography. We talked about New York, New Jersey, Chicago. I mean, you go to the West Coast, they have different ingredients, and their pizzas are inspired by what's popular and what's available to them, similar to what we do here, what they do in the middle of the country, what they do in Italy, what they do in Greece, what they do in Japan. Like wherever you are, you're going to have this template, right? You just
Yeah.
have crust, and
Yeah.
what you put on the crust, right? Are you going to put sauce? No sauce, cheese, no cheese. Are you gonna put vegetables on it, meats on it, fish on it? And people from all over have their different ways of making pizza, but based off that template, based on the crust.
Wow. And what I find fascinating is that the pizza wars that are real in New Haven. And when you ask people the question, like, where did you get your pizza? Where's your pizza place? And everybody has their own place, and when we were talking, I said, I grew up, we ate Pizza House pizza, the Pizza House on House Street in its
Yeah,
original day. We grew up eating those little squares, right? Um, but then there's other people who grew up eating just modern or just Pepe's or Sally's or Ernie's or the place in West Haven. Um, uh,
Zapardi's.
Zapardi's. People grew up
And
eating Zapardi's.
and Monday is Zapardi's 90th birthday anniversary. So
Wow.
they will be having a party there to kick that off. And anytime a restaurant either opens or has a celebration or has a milestone, they're celebrating an anniversary, a birthday, that means free food. So people go to Zapardi's on Monday.
If you've
Some
never had that old world pizza, that you want to go there and get some in
yeah,
West
so
Haven of all places.
yeah, no, and I totally know what you mean about like the local pizza place. Growing up in Hamden, in that little niche in Hamden that's between New Haven and North Haven, had a local place called Modestinos.
Hmm.
And every Friday night, from when I was a kid to when I had my high school friends over, to when I had my high school friends who are now in college over, to after college when I had those friends still over when I was living with my parents for a year or two, Friday nights would be Modestinos. Modestino's is gone. That's sad. Living here in Fairhaven, I was a big original Grand Beats guy,
Whoa.
and Grand Beats has now closed. It was one of those situations where there wasn't someone next in line in the family to take it over or something like that. And George from there, he wanted to retire. He's like, Lou, I've been doing this for about 20 years. I want to play with the grandkids.
Yeah, I get it. So where do you get your pizza now, Lou? Like, where do you
I,
go? What's your
I,
backup?
I'm still deciding
What?
because it's geography, it's headed home, but I'm starting to look more and more into next door
Yeah,
because technically next door is between where I work and where I live.
that's
So
true.
if I can make next door my go-to place,
Hmm.
and I can settle. I'm not settling. Oh my god, I'm sorry, Doug. Next door pizza is awesome. But I can see that be my next place. A couple others, but I really liked Brand. It was just they would make it to order. It was my local pizza place. I would go there and bring pizza up to my cousins in Wolcott, and they would allow me to borrow the pizza box to keep it hot in. I remember during one of those during I think it was the worst of the two blizzards, the one that dumped like 35 inches on us.
Yes.
I remember walking there because they were open, and
Wow.
I'm like, hey guys, can I have a pizza and a beer? And they're like, no, we're closing in 5 minutes. I'm like, come on. But yeah, it was that kind of place. But it feels like I can have the same experience with next door, and you know Pepe's, Sally's, Modern. They're all on the way home, and yes, we can order online now, and it's much easier. But there's something cool about having that. Oh, hey George, hey Doug, type of place to go to.
Yeah, your neighborhood pizza place. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. All right, so the play is sold out. The tickets are sold out. I guess there's a wait list of some sort, maybe. I don't know.
there's a wait list for invited dress. We've been being sold out is an awesome problem. And
Yes,
you know what? Having the confines of we can't break fire code is great reasoning, and it's also safe. I mean, you can't pack a place full of people. One, the audience is going to be uncomfortable. Two, it's literally breaking fire code, so you can't do that. And for me, I'm like awesome. And people who missed out, maybe they'll be a little more motivated to act earlier next time.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now, Babs, to ask you a question. Um, you've ended up in our production as Pearl, wait staff from 1989. Is this your first? Is this your debut on stage?
It is. I mean, it is in this kind of production, yes. And when Jess Mack said, "I'd like to give you some lines," I thought she was gonna let me have some trays and bring to the table, like, "Here's your water." She actually
Mm-mm.
she actually wrote me some lines, and I'm like, oh. And I was telling Jess and Ruben when they were on the other day, I said, I'm so in awe that I'm watching the play, the rehearsal of the play, and I forget that I'm in the play. So I'm just watching, and so I miss my cues because I'm so engrossed in the story. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. It's like, oh yeah, this is my part right here.
I've
So
I've I've done the same thing once or twice.
it's so good. It really is. And to see y'all work, Lou, I mean, pure magic the way that y'all work together
Thank you.
and comfortable with each other. It's like a big family marriage. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a big marriage. I mean, y'all are so good with each other. You know each other's rhythms. You know each other's stress points. I mean, I'm watching y'all handle each other with such care, and friends. So
Yeah, and thank you for that. Part of it is being together for the past 15 years. Part of it, and over the years, we've lost some folks. They moved away or whatever. We picked some folks up, and every once in a while, we come across someone, and they're like, "Hey, we want you to do this part in this show." And then, before you know it, they're coming to like stuff where they're like, "Hey, I know we're painting the set today, and I really stink at painting, but here I am." And then you see him at some other stuff, and then the improv that we've gotten into, because between me, Ruben, Jess, Ian, Gaffney, we have an improv troupe as part of a Broken Umbrella called the Regicides, show on Saturday, and we started to do that to help make another show better in 2014 called Gilbert the Great, about AC Gilbert,
yeah,
and we've kept it over the years. So not only are we in a room creating theater, not only are we in backyard birthday parties, not only are we gathering for improv, which is a lot of back and forth. We've gotten together a pretty good crew, and we understand each other, and I hope we also understand, and we're relaying to people who are new in the room that hey, this is us, and your voice matters just as much as ours does, and please say stuff, please contribute. You have an idea for one of the things we wrote you, please, what is that, and what do you think your character should be, which is a really fun part of a devised work, is because you get to make it up from scratch.
yeah, yeah. And the improv, y'all are so funny and so witty, and the timing is impeccable. It's such a ride of joy. I love it. I love it. And the only reason why I'm not going to be there Saturday is because I'm going to be on the green for the New Haven Symphony Orchestra with the arrival of the new maestro Perry. So
Uh,
otherwise,
don't tell anyone, but I was supposed to be there too with the congresswoman, but because the improv show is at 8, and the kickoff is on stage at 8, I'm having someone fill in for me. So shh.
all right. I'm like, where's Lou? Oh, he's making comedy.
Making comedy, and we've actually added a couple things to the improv shows this year. Um,
Yes.
whole summer series. First one is done in conjunction with the festival this Saturday night at the Stack over in Westville, 446A Blake Street. This year we're adding music, so every show is going to start at 7 with a musical act.
Hmm.
During the show we did for Art Walk in Westville, we had DJ Dulio,
Yes.
and we have, so that'll be 7 o'clock every other Saturday from pretty much this point forward, and then we go on at 8. We have beer provided by Black Hog Brewery. We have wine for people. We have water. We have soft drinks, and also new this year is almost every show, I think at this point, is going to have its own special beverage.
I love that.
Mm.
I love a curated cocktail. I love a curated drink. So that's fun. So, well, thank you, Lou Mangini, for making time because I know you're very busy because you're the right hand to our Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro, and that cannot be easy in this congressional climate. So thank you for making time to show up on my show and to talk about this wonderful production that happens next week. So break a leg.
Hey, you too. And I'll see you on Sunday.
You will see me on Sunday in 1989 regalia. So there you go.
Awesome. I can't
Thank
wait,
you.
Babs. Thank you so much. It's been
Thank you.
long overdue. So I'm so happy that you hosted me. Thank you.
No problem. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much. Okay, Harry, play us out and I'll see y'all. Have a good weekend, everybody. Get in these
Bye, everyone.
streets. Lots of art out there. See you at the symphony. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend. Be safe. Watch out for the thunderstorms today. And Arts and Ideas opens. Woo! I'm ready if you're ready. I'm ready even if you're not ready. So I will see you out there in these streets. International Festival of Arts and Ideas. Let's go. Harry. Harry!
Sorry, I had to run to the restroom. Whew. I was waiting for
Listen,
you to finish, at your 48.
I know, I
And
know,
then
I
it's like,
know.
I gotta run.
He's like, I can't wait. I gotta go. Ladies for her. All right. Well, have a good weekend, Harry, and hopefully I'll see you. If not, then I know I'll see you at the Arts and Ideas Festival sometime this summer. I know it.
I might be going tomorrow at 8 on the green.
Okay. I'd love to see you.
All right. Have a good weekend if I
All
don't
right.
see you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.